Welcome everybody to week 2 of DES 105. I am Shannon McNamara, your graphic arts instructor. And I'm just going to pop on my video for a second because it was not working last week. It seemed like nothing on my computer was working last week. But I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I hope that you had a successful week 1. And going into week 2, we're going to keep going with our menu designs. I really like the designs that I was seeing, so that's awesome. Keep up the good work and the momentum going into week 2, where we're going to actually add in those menus this week. So I'll be doing a demo of that to be able to show you how to put it all together in InDesign, and hopefully that will help you with your assignment this week. We also have an assessment, another quiz, and if you do have any outstanding work, make sure you get that in. And with that, we'll hop back into our slideshow. Okay, so just a reminder, my telephone hours are 9 a.m. Mountain Time to 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you do get my voicemail, please make sure to leave me a message so I know it's you and I can get back to you. Please email me outside of this time, but you can email me really anytime. Just note that I am located in Eastern Standard Time, so be aware of the time zone change when you're trying to reach me. Here's our agenda for the week. We're going to go over some announcements, the discussion question for week 2. We're going to be talking about those CRAP principles of design. I already mentioned the assessment, which is going to be a quiz this week. And then we also have our assignment for this week. And if time allows, I would like to do a small critique of the week 1 assignments. A reminder about due dates. All assignments and assessments are due by Saturday at midnight for full credit. However, if you are going to be late and you are going to miss a deadline, please make sure that you are communicating regarding late work. That is definitely key in this course. That will save you from having missed points. Also, the week 4 assignments cannot be turned in late. The course will turn into a pumpkin. It will lock you out. It will not let you upload. And I will say this every week, if anything happens during week 4 when you are trying to upload your final assignments, make sure that you email that file over to me immediately so it is in my email when I wake up first thing Sunday morning, because you may have noticed when you get up on Sunday that your grades were in. I like to try to grade everything Sunday morning. Also, your original discussion post is due by Wednesday at midnight, and then you also need to respond to 2 of your fellow students' discussion posts by Saturday at midnight, and make sure that you are posting on 2 different days of the week. Late discussion posts will not be accepted past the Saturday deadline for the week, so if you miss your discussion post for week 1, week 1 is over. We have moved on to week 2, and we will only be in the week 2 discussion this week. A reminder about our schedule. The live sessions are on Mondays from 4 to 6 p.m. and please check the live session tab in your course for our multi-session. The multi-sessions are open for students to come in with assignment problems, questions, or for one-on-one tutoring. This gives you ample time during the week to get the assignments done. If you do need any outside help, the Student Success Center is open with tutoring available and no appointment is necessary. All right, so welcome to week 2. We made it through week 1. Do you feel like that every single mod? I am taking the MBA program here at Independence, so I feel like, woo, made it through week 1. Now I'm on week 2. I'm a quarter of the way done. So I assume that you guys feel the same way. Again, we're going to talk a little bit about an introduction to the principles of design. I would like to attempt to do a critique of last week's assignment. We'll apply what we just learned about those principles of design within the critique. And then we're going to take a look at style sheets and our discussion and assignment. So there are 4 basic principles of design. I'll go to full screen for this so you guys can see it a little bit better. They are contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. So yes, we designers are looking for crap to know if our design is working. It's a kind of funny acronym, but it's one of those things that you definitely remember. So the first one is C for contrast. Contrast ultimately means change. Is there a change in size? Is there a change in color? Is there a change in direction? Is there a change in typeface? Is there a change in weight? And there's a lot of other different changes that you can do. Those changes bring about emphasis and they create focal points. So differences in size, position, color, texture, shape, even the orientation of your shapes. They all provide contrast on the page. So we have a couple of, good and bad choices when it comes to contrast, especially with type on colored backgrounds. So green on a red background, bad choice. Your eyes do not know where to focus. Just try staring at that for a little while and all your eyes do is red, green, red, green, red, green. It can't find a focus and it hurts your eyes. The same thing would be red text on a green background. And then our center square has a very nice shade of blue, but the light blue on top of it, there's not enough contrast, so our eyes, again, have a hard time reading it. The third square is our good choice. It's different shades of green, but they work well together because there's enough of a contrast between the darker green and the lighter green. And there's a lot of harmony between those two greens being put together. And as far as the bad choice for the two blues, if this blue was lightened up even maybe 20% more than it is now, it would end up being in the good choice column, I believe. Next, we have R, which is repetition. So repetition represents consistency within a design. We repeat elements so that the design is cohesive. Those elements can be typefaces, size, color, leading, etc., that are used to consistently create visual unity and harmony within our designs. So here are some examples of repetition. So there's a couple of different ways that you can look at this. The lines are one way of there being repetition. The other way that there is repetition is in the fonts within the layout. We use style sheets to create repetition in our layout. So this font is the same as this font, is the same as this font, is the same as this font, is the same as this font. And then we have different sections that are the same. So this sidebar is the same as this sidebar, stylistically. And that creates repetition in the design as well. So I'll leave this one up on the screen so you can kind of just take a look at the different areas of repetition within this design. Next, we have A for alignment. Alignment is vitally important in graphic design because it allows you to arrange elements in a way that matches how people naturally scan the page. It helps balance your image so that it's visually appealing, and it creates a visual connection between related elements. So you can have horizontal alignment, which, on the left, this is an example of horizontal alignment. The body copy is aligned with the left and right-hand margins. Horizontal alignment can apply to a single large body of text or for smaller portions like columns or text boxes. Then you can have vertical alignment. So this is vertical alignment. The text is aligned with the top and bottom margins of the page. Technically, the horizontal alignment is vertically aligned within the box as well. Then you can have, an edge alignment, center alignment, visual alignment, and then something that's purposely not aligned. And when it comes to visual alignment, this is one of those things that you'll kind of just get eventually. The more you do stuff like this, the more you do design and the more you do typography, you'll begin to develop a designer's eye to see you know, I think if I bump this over just a little bit, the alignment feels just a little bit better. So that's one of those things that kind of just comes with time. Then we have proximity. I feel that proximity might be one of the principles that people have the hardest time kind of understanding, you know, what it means. And the principle of proximity is that items that are related to each other should be near each other. So that way they'll be viewed as a group rather than several unrelated items. So in our menus, you know, we would want to group like items together, meaning that we would want to keep both lines of the address together, and we might want to keep the phone number near the address. So all of the contact information near each other. We would want to keep the hours together. You wouldn't want to put Monday through Thursday with, you know, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at the top of the page, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 1 p.m. to 1 a.m., way down at the bottom of the page. You would want to keep those items together, because when they are visually grouped together within the same proximity, we read them as being related to one another. So my two examples up on the screen are two business cards, and they have the same amount of information. But the right example is the better example because it's keeping like information together. Instead, we're saying, all right, 21 Lawn Hill Drive, Happyville, NB, and then the phone. Things are just kind of all over the page. Over here, we have the address together and then the contact information together. All right, so let's take a look at this menu and find all four of the crap principles. Now, if you guys want, you can either type in the chat or you can turn on your microphone, whichever you would prefer. But who wants to tell me where they're seeing some contrast in the design? I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to type. Or again, if you want to turn on your microphone, completely up to you. The color and the point size, yes, there's definitely contrast between the black on the white background, the black and red and white, and then the different point sizes. Awesome. Anybody else see any more examples of contrast? Right, the different colors. So even this white sitting on top of this pattern background, even that creates contrast. Now, what about repetition? The headers and the subheaders, yes, definitely. You can see that they use style sheets to make sure that everything within the menu has the same style. So these headers, like hot sandwiches, salads, entrees, are all the same font. They're the same point size, they're the same color. That is a style choice, and it also creates repetition. And then the same thing with the subheaders. So, you know, or the menu items even. These are all the same size. Exactly. Don't fear white space. That's right. And they didn't. And it really, really works in this design. Well said. You know, even there's repetition in the alignment. Well, that would be alignment, but you know, where the price points are. There is repetition in using the lines in between the different items. So lots of repetition going on. What about alignment? It's left justified, that's correct. And even, you know, the descriptions on each of the menus are, you know, each one is equally kind of tabbed in or hanging. Everything is aligned, right? All of the columns are aligned. You know, the tops are aligned. They are each aligned on the left-hand side. They're even each aligned on the right-hand side. There's a lot of alignment going on here. And then these lines separating are center aligned with each of the columns as well. All right, what about that proximity? Oh, and horizontally and vertically, yes. What about proximity? Everything is grouped accordingly, you're right. So if we look at it, there's a lot of ways that we can break down the proximity. And I'll kind of go from big groups to little groups. So all of the sandwiches are on the left-hand side. Then we have the proximity of keeping all of the hot sandwiches together and all of the cold sandwiches together. Then we have the proximity of keeping the menu item with the menu description and the price point together with enough space that we can see where the next group begins. So, and then we have what comes with each hot sandwich or each cold sandwich, the proximity next to it, next to the headline, so that way we're not confused at all when we look at this menu to figure out, all right, does the, you know, if we were missing this extra space here and everything was the same font size and everything just kind of ran into each other in one paragraph, you might not know where the chicken dip ended and then the Philly cheesesteak began. So, you know, it's important. That's why proximity is so important in design. All right, great job, everybody. All right, so why don't we just, I'm going to randomly open up, and I don't even know, I'm going to randomly open up one menu design and we can talk about those crap principles. So here's our critique etiquette. Make sure that you are kind, but make sure you're also straightforward in your critique. Talk about the work itself, not the artist. And then if it's your work that you're seeing, separate yourself from your work. You know, listen to the issues and then come up with some solutions as well. So I'm going to just open up one. I'm going to open up number 12. And, oh, hold on. Hold on. All right, I'm going to open up this one. Number 4. So let's first talk about contrast. There is a red and green contrast issue because we have 100% red. You're right, 100% green with that plus sign there. It's not a big contrast issue, but I can definitely see what you're saying. Would you have a suggestion to maybe keep the green and have it still work? Do you have a suggestion on how it could possibly be fixed? And we'll see if we're both thinking the same thing. Okay, put it in a rectangle or lower the opacity. Yes. So We can either block out the logo, which would be a solution, or we can bring down the opacity of the green, and then they're not both competing being the, the strong color. And sometimes that'll work. You can, bring down the opacity, and then you're giving all the power basically to the red. So that way the red can be the strong, powerful color, and the green's going to take a little bit of a step back for a minute. And that'll sometimes, really fix those problems. Now, what about repetition? Right, there's repetition in the font selection, correct. The font size. Everything is centered, yep. There's even repetition in choosing this image with the 3 sushi going up the line. And the chopsticks are very similar, the way they're being held, as the chopsticks in the logo. Good. And then what about alignment? We did say it was center aligned. Is there any other type of alignment that we can see here? Let me zoom out a little. There is nice horizontal alignment. Yep. And there's even vertical alignment. Correct. Yes. Now, what about proximity? Okay, so yes and no. What do you think has proximity? Right, the addresses is near each other, and then I think it's okay that the phone number's right here because we have some good repetition here in the lines, and then the name of the restaurant is with Chinese and sushi restaurant, so we have that proximity together. I think that this is good proximity, that this is a good example of proximity. Because we have the repetition of 1 line, 2 lines, 1 line. And then, but pertinent information such as this, the address standing alone, Chinese and sushi restaurant being in close proximity to the logo, and then the phone number standing on its own, I think that really works out, because sometimes when you're looking at the front of a menu, you just want to see where their phone number is. So making the phone number, stand alone on this line, I think it works because of that, because ultimately we need this piece to function correctly, and I feel that this menu does function correctly. People can see it, immediately know what type of restaurant it is. They can immediately find on the cover the information that they're looking for. I do agree, Chinese and sushi restaurant could be a little bit bigger. I think I agree with you there. But all in all, I think this was a really good design. All right, let's look at the second one. So again, we have a nice, good, big photo. Let's talk about the contrast. Right, there are parts where there are good contrast, and then there's parts where the colors are kind of fighting each other. I think ultimately the best part of this menu is the background picture. And you might say to yourself, yeah, but it's not going to work because of the contrast. I think, however, we can make it work just by moving things around a little bit. I think it can work exactly how it needs to. What if we took the logo and we brought it right here and put the black on top of the red, and maybe in Photoshop we kind of cleaned this up a little bit and brightened this shadow right here, and then we brought Chinese and sushi restaurant and we just made it a little bit smaller, but we nested these items in this red area. Do you think that that would fix our contrast issue? Oh, I agree. Yes, yes. I just want to show that, like, sometimes when we run into a problem, there is a way to fix it. You know, like it's not, you know, like when you first look at it, you're like, oh, that's going to be a contrast problem, so I guess I can't use this image. But sometimes, even if you're going to have that contrast problem, sometimes you can still fix that problem, which is good. All right, what about the repetition? Right, different fonts for the address versus the byline, but the the information down here, I think, has good repetition, because you're using the same font across and you have kind of that same setup. But I might change this font to match this font to really push that repetition. Yeah, I agree with you on the right, just, you know, possibly right justifying this. You mean the right hand side, correct? I think that that might work too. And then that would really kind of tie it all in together. I agree. All right, what about, which kind of brings us, that we kind of went right through alignment with that one. So what about proximity? Yeah, I think the proximity looks good too. We have like information together. So, you know, we're not looking all over the page. I also like that the address info is grouped together too. And then we have that, the byline with the logo. So I think that the proximity is really good. All right, awesome job, guys. All right, so I kind of started to discuss style sheets when I was going over those CRAP principles. And we're going to be using style sheets this week. And the first time you use style sheets, it may feel like, why am I doing all of this extra work? Do I really need to do all of this extra work? But in the long run, what may feel like extra work at the beginning is actually going to save you time in the long run, which is great. You know, style sheets are predetermined formatting that you can use for text and objects, and you use the styles in a fast and efficient way to manage your formatting. So the types of styles that we're going to be working with are character styles, which will alter our character attributes such as font, strokes and fills, leading, and kerning. And then we're also going to look at paragraph styles, which can control character attributes and paragraph attributes such as tabs, indents, and spacing, paragraph rules, and hyphenation. So we like to use style sheets especially when we are putting together menus. And you'll probably hear me say this multiple times throughout this course, but creating a menu as an assignment in this course is a great real world experience assignment where these are things that you will do out in the real world as a graphic designer. I can't tell you how many menus I have put together in my career. I could probably reach them across the United States at this point. Especially two-sided 8.5 by 11 trifold Chinese food menus. I used to end up doing probably 10 of those a week at one of my jobs that I worked at for about 8 years. So that's a lot of Chinese food menus. And if it wasn't for style sheets, I would still be working there trying to finish up those menus because they really expedite the process. So let's try to find the style sheets in this menu, the menu that we were looking at before. If I was going to make a style sheet and it was going to have a style, let's say that I was going to make 1, 2, 3, 4 styles ultimately, or maybe 5 styles. Can you possibly pick them out? The 5 styles that I would make. The font is a style. Okay, I'll show you the first one. My first style that I would make would be for my food category, meaning hot sandwiches, cold sandwiches, salads, pastas, entrees, and comida mexicana. I would make a style that shows this font in this color at this size. So those would be, yes, my headers, exactly. So what might be my second style that I would make? Subheaders, right. So my subheaders could be these items right here, the italicized items of what they come with. That could be my subheader because they're kind of underneath each of my headers. And I also have them down here. All right, so that's number 2. What would be my third style? And now remember, each one is a specific point size. So anytime you change the point size, you're changing the style. So think of it that way. It's very specific that everything is set up exactly how you see it. The item description, yes. The prices, those are one of my styles. And then the last one is the item itself. This is a little bit bigger of a point size than the description. So here it is, headers 1. This is number 2. This is number 3, chicken dip or Philly cheesesteak or turkey pastrami. Number 4 is the description. And number 5 is the prices. And the price one is a very specific way that I would make this style. What I would do, and I'm going to show you how to do it tonight, is after the word chicken dip, all I would hit is the tab key, and it would move this price point exactly to the end of the text box and line it up precisely with every other price point, just by hitting the tab key. We call that inserting tabs, and you use it a lot in menus, and I'm going to show you how to make them tonight. All right, so as I was saying, we have our quiz this week. So you're going to apply InDesign text frame properties to create and link columns. That's going to be in your quiz. preparing an InDesign document for print output using the package tool, creating and applying paragraph and character style sheets to manage type consistency, identify and apply the 4 basic principles of design: contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity, and then define and apply the 5 basic elements of design: shape, line, color, texture, and value. That will be on your quiz. And then also for our discussion, we'll take a look at the discussion, but I'm going to show you how to embed photos from the internet into the discussion, and also just kind of a little APA review. Make sure that you are formatting your discussion. It doesn't need to be, I'm not necessarily super particular. Some teachers are about APA format in your discussion posts. Mainly I'm looking, do you have correct spelling? Do you have correct grammar and capitalization? Have you cited your sources properly? Those are really the things that I'm looking for as far as your discussion posts. And did you answer the questions that were being asked? All right, so before we get into the demo for the assignment, let's hop over into our course. And just a quick review, for how to see your grades. If you go into the grades tab, and you may see that you received your grade for assignment 1. If you click right here, you can see the comment from me. So I just wrote a comment of test. And then you can click to see details. You can click to show your rubric so you can see what's going on there. And I didn't leave any feedback for the PDF on this one, but if I did, you would click view feedback right here, and it will show you a preview of the PDF text, and any comments that I made will be off to the side. But I did put a video in the announcements that did have an example of a PDF with some comments, so you can see that if you're having trouble figuring out how to read the comments that I've left you if you did upload a PDF with your zip file. All right, so let's take a look at the announcements real quick for this week. If you are having any low-res artwork issues, you can go to freeimages.com or pexels.com to try to find new artwork for this week for those covers. You only had low-res artwork issues if I told you that you had low-res artwork issues. If you are missing work from week 1, there is definitely still time to fix this. Try and get those missing assignments or assessments in as soon as you can. Also, don't forget to watch the videos for week 2. They can be found under the Readings and Videos tab on the homepage, which is right here. And if we scroll down, we can take a look. There's the lecture part 1. Then there's a video on how to edit text, how to format text with paragraph styles, how to format text with character styles, how to create and sync your colors, working with fonts from Typekit, and then a video on those 4 basic principles of design. Then you also have an elements of design video, and in Intro to InDesign, there are a couple of videos at lynda.com, which you would access through your student access portal. One's on stacking and layering objects, and the other is on wrapping text around a graphic. So don't forget to watch those. If you are having trouble uploading the PDF, I noticed that when I gone in last Monday and changed the settings, for some reason they didn't save, and then somebody did email me to let me know, and I went back in and it seemed to save it the second time. I don't know what was wrong with, I was having a little bit of an issue with Canvas saving my settings, so I do apologize about that. I will double check for week 2. If you do run into an issue where I've told you you can upload a PDF and it's not uploading, just send me a quick message so I can kind of get into the back end of the course and take a look for you. All right, so let's take a look at our discussion for week 2. And again, it's not a requirement to upload those PDFs. Just some people like to see the feedback right there where I can kind of write little notes on the picture so that way you can see. Sometimes it's a little bit easier. All right, so this week we're going to be discussing, it's all about style. So repetition is one of those 4 principles used in layout design. We kind of went over that for a little bit for the last 30 minutes. Repetition is utilized to create unity within compositions. One of the primary places that repetition is employed is within typography. Consistent typography creates a cohesive, professional look, as well as giving the viewer a subliminal roadmap around the finished piece. You are already using this principle when writing papers in your classes. Stop and think about that. Microsoft does that for you. All of the body copy for your papers is the same size, has the same line spacing. All pages have the same margins and so on, unless if you are me and you get into Word and you make a mess of it. Me and Microsoft Word do not get along. Another principle that is heavily used in typography is alignment. While alignment means more than lining up type to the left margin or to the right margin or even centering it, it means aligning multiple text boxes or images within the composition. Going back to the examples of papers that you've written for classes, think about when you utilize bullet points or you had outline formats. The bullets or numbers are aligned, and then the text next to them maintains a straight line as well. This aids your paper in organizing the information, and it creates a visual roadmap for the reader that we've been speaking about. Paragraph style sheets and character style sheets are regularly utilized in InDesign to make the job of the designer much easier while creating a cohesive element necessary for a professional, polished design. So just that the same exact way that you would want a roadmap in a paper that you're writing, you really want a roadmap within your menu. You want people to read your menu and be able to understand the different elements within the menu the same way that they can read your paper and know how to navigate around your paper. Those paragraph style sheets and character style sheets are regularly utilized in InDesign to make the job of the designer much easier while creating the cohesive elements necessary for a professional, polished design. For example, the designer of a magazine will set up paragraph style sheets that record all of the specifications, so size, leading, tracking, and so on, of the body copy used for articles. They can then apply or change multiple characteristics with a single click. Properly setting up and utilizing style sheets in InDesign will give the designer a tool to help employ 2 of the principles discussed. So here's our prompt for this week. In today's discussion, we learned about how the use of style sheets can make layouts consistent to apply to 2 of the design. I'm going to read that sentence again. It's a Monday. In today's discussion, we learned about how the use of style sheets can make layouts consistent to apply to 2 of the principles of design, repetition and alignment. Here's the question you're going to be answering. Do you feel that restricting yourself by using style sheets hinders creativity? Next, you're going to find an example where you feel style sheets were used, but it's still a unique and creative design. So locate 3 places on that layout and tell us what type of style sheets may have been used, character or paragraph, to support a principle of repetition or alignment or both. Be sure to cite where you found the image that you were using and the artist or firm name if possible. Here's a video on how to embed images into the discussion using the images URL, but I'm going to show you real quick. So let me go to Pixelate Design, and I'll go down to my portfolio. And let's see if this is going to work. Whoops, hold on. I'll go to my husband's portfolio. I forgot I did a slideshow. Oh, he did a slideshow too. I'm off to a good start here. Let me go to Behance. There we go. So let's say that I want to use, trying to find something that's a good example of alignment and proximity. I'll use this example. So I'm going to open up an image, the image in the new tab by right-clicking on it, and I'm going to copy that URL. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and, oh, come on. Where's my reply? This topic is closed for comments. Oh, great. I don't know why. Have to look at that and open it up. Let's try this. If anybody ran into that this week, I will fix this. And I'm going to hit reply once I fix this. And I'm going to go to embed image. And I'm going to paste the URL. See how it shows you that the example should have either .png or .jpeg. I'm going to put in Super Coops for my alt text. And I'll hit update. And it's going to paste that image right in. And I'll just put, this is a test of how to embed an image. This is shown in the live session. So that way everybody knows. And I'll post it as a reply. So that's how you embed an image right into your discussion. There's another video right here that shows you how to do exactly what I did, but that's probably the easiest way. So for your reply post, you're going to want to look at the different pieces that your fellow students have presented. And, you know, did you like the use of the style sheets there? Can you tell the use of the style sheets? You know, look for signs that it either used or didn't use a style sheet. Was it because of the poor use of repetition or alignment that wasn't already picked up on, or was it something else that gave you a clue that a style sheet might not have been used? So your initial and reply post should work to develop an understanding of this topic. You know, try to challenge each other and build on each other's discussion posts, and always be respectful, but definitely try to figure this out together. All right, so next I'm going to end this recording, and I will start up the next recording, and we will get into InDesign. We'll put together some style sheets, and we'll put together a menu. So if you are watching this at home, go on to the next recording. And for those of you who are here today, just stay put, and we'll go on to the next recording.